Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are in the world. For those of you who don't know and may be watching my channel for the first time, I'm in Spain. My name's Vicky. I talk about true crime, but I also talk a bit about politics and talk about anything really that I think might be interesting, depending on what's going on at the time, isn't it? So that's why soon we've got in the UK, there's an election. So I'll be talking about that today. A little light-hearted look at that. A look at a TV personality, a British TV personality, a doctor who's gone missing in Greece. I want to look at the Sebastian Rogers, the developments in that case. And also I want to tell you about a little Twitter incident I had yesterday. So lots of different things. There goes the algorithm yet again. One day I'll start doing videos for the algorithm. Makes me laugh when people say, oh, YouTubers do their videos for clicks. Well, not me, because all I do it for, if I think it's interesting, and I think other people will find it interesting, and if I stuck to what I thought the algorithm would give me more clicks, I probably would get more clicks. But anyway, that's it. So to me, for me, it's just what's interesting to me or my chatters. Now, some of you that are there that will be watching this, you'll find some of it interesting. You won't find other bits. What I thought I'd do with this Saturday live, it's going to be a long one. And then later I'm going to cut it down into segments. So some people might not be interested in the UK election, or they might be interested in that, but they might not be interested in the Sebastian Rogers case or in the doctor going missing. So what I'm going to do later when I finish this video is I'm going to cut it into more bite-sized chunks and release it, so people can pick and choose which one they want to watch, which segment they want to watch. So first of all, I want to say thank you to everyone, and I can take my banner off. As always, thank you for liking my videos, watching my videos, being a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber yet, please think about subscribing. That's a free way you can help my channel, as is liking the video, completely free. And then a special thank you to my members. Every Thursday we have a special members live every Thursday evening, and membership is only $1.99 a month, cancelable anytime. And that's a really good way that people can support my channel, because with true crime you don't always get monetized, or they're slow in monetizing you. So it's just a big help. So special thank you to my members, and also anyone who sent me a super chat, bought me a Ko-fi, PayPal'd me. There's lots of people support my channel in many ways. I appreciate all of it, but the best way to support my channel is by liking the videos, subscribing to the channel. Those are the free ways you can help my channel. Okay, so let's take the banner off now. So I overslept this morning. So those of you who don't like the chit chat, because some people say, oh, get to the point. I don't get to the point. If you want something that gets to the point, then you are really watching the wrong channel. Or maybe you should just fast forward. Sometimes I think people haven't quite got the hang of how to actually fast forward on video. You don't have to watch, if the video is 3 hours long, you don't have to watch. One, you don't have to watch it all in one hit. You can watch it bit by bit. And two, you can just speed through bits that you're not interested in. Do you know what I mean? I don't get this. Anyway, it's going to be a long video. There's going to be some chit chat. There's going to be a lot of drivel probably. But there you go. It's Vicky Marie Chats. That's the name of the channel, Vicky Marie Chats. Okay. So yeah, I got up late this morning. Well, late for me because I got up at 8 o'clock. And I don't know about you, but I have so many things, because I'm not a night person, and I do nothing at night, like tidying up, washing up, organising things. Nothing. Very rare. Occasionally I do, but it's rare for me to get organised at night. And then, of course, I've woken up early, and then I've got to do all those things. And I've got to sort the dogs out. I've got to wear them out because, you know, I know I'm going to be doing a long stream, so that they're sort of flat out now because I've had to sort of make sure they've, you know, had their energy battery. Because I don't know about you if you've got dogs, but you know, you get up, it takes you ages to come round. The dogs are like straight away, oh, you know what we do today? Where are we going? Oh, this is brilliant. Isn't life great? And you're like, you know, where's my coffee? So, you know, so done all that. Anyway, I'll not bore you with everything I've done this morning. But and I wash my hair, you know, which I hate washing my hair, but it just had to be done. So it's not only the washing your hair, is it? Then you've got to blow dry it, you know, so it all takes time. Then I've got to put my face on, you know, then I've got to have some breakfast. So by the time I've done all that, it's 10 o'clock. You know, that's why I decided to start the live at 10. And I know Saturday morning maybe for some people isn't a good time to watch a live, because if you're somewhere where it is morning, I mean, I know in Australia it's evening time, I suppose, or early afternoon, early evening. But you know, I have to just do it when I can, and before the big dog comes down, because it's the big dog that does most of the barking. You know, I have to think about all these things. So anyway, here I am, and there's been lots of things I've wanted to talk to you about, and I just haven't had time because I've been watching. I'm really interested in the UK election. I love politics. I have a degree in politics. That's what I studied at university. You know, so I've been quite sidetracked with watching a lot about politics. I watched the debate last night, which I thought was brilliant, like really entertaining. Whereas the other debate the other day was a bit boring, wasn't it? But the debate last night was much more entertaining between the 7 sort of political parties. But this week, you know, it's just been, like people say, it's a boring election campaign. I don't think it's been boring. I think every day there's something comes out of it that you just think, oh my God, I can't believe it. So we're going to talk about that. So first of all, I'm going to say hello to everyone. Let's have a look. Hi, Mello. Hi, David. Hi, Wildcat. 1 a.m. for you, is it? Hi, Carla. Hi, Maggie. Hi, Claire. Yes, I am going to be talking about politics, I'm afraid, Carla. Hi, Daniel. But I give them all a chance. I will be fair, I promise. I try to be a woman of principle, Maggie. You know, I do fall off it every now and again. Hi, Rustic. Rustic's going to listen to it in the back. Always get a bit too much information, but never mind. But yeah, it's perfect to listen to in the back, isn't it? Okay, so we're going to start though with the doctor that's gone missing in Greece. This is very worrying, isn't it? I mean, I didn't really know who he was because I don't watch, you know, the sort of like Good Morning Britain and what's it, the One Show and things like that. That he's normally on, this guy. But it's very worrying because it seems to me that I wonder if this guy has got lost. And of course, it's very, very hot in Greece at the moment, like it is here. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Quizzical. Now, because, well, so today, and the weather's odd. I mean, I don't know if it is in Greece, but like, so today I was supposed to be going over to my friends who's got a pool and we were going to have lunch and have a swim. But the weather's really odd. It's really humid and hot. It's been, yesterday it was very windy, but it's not, it was a hot wind. It's like a desert wind. It's almost like a Sahara wind. And here at the moment, we're in the clouds. You can look at the clouds because it's quite cloudy and overcast. But the clouds are orange with sand. They're loaded with sand. And we're just waiting for that all to come down. And then everywhere will be red, you know. But it's not nice. You know, it's not nice weather to sit out in because, you know, the air is not good. You know, it's got all this sand in it and that. So I'm not doing that. So that is another reason why I'm here going to do this long live today, because I thought, oh, well, that's good. You know, it's bad in one way, but it's nice in another way, because it means I can spend some time with you guys. So now then, so this doctor, I'm quite worried about him, in the sense of, has he got lost? Has he got lost and then the heat has overcome him? But it seems strange that they haven't found him yet, because it's only a small island, isn't it? As far as I can gather. There's Penny Dreadful. I'm going to talk about her last night. Here we go. Race against time for the TV doctor as rescuers shift the focus to mountainous path. So the TV doctor's wife raised the alarm on Wednesday when he failed to return from a walk on the Greek island of Symi, where they are holidaying with another couple. And that reminds me, I'm going to light my candle now, and I'm going to light it for this doctor. I hope they find him safe and well. The problem is, every hour that passes, if he has had a bit of an incident, you know, a medical incident, or maybe just the heat overcame him. What was he doing? You know, I don't mean, if you live in these countries, you would know you don't go walking in the afternoon. You just don't. And I see people here, not in the summer, not when it's hot. I see people here jogging, Brits normally, or foreigners, because not only, so this is the hope that we find this, that he gets found safe and well. But as I say, every hour that passes, and now he's spent a couple of nights out in the open, hasn't he? So, oh, is he well known in Australia, Quizzical? I didn't know that. I noticed it's been on the Australian news. So, yeah, often I'll be in my car going somewhere and I see people jogging at 2 o'clock in the afternoon or 3 o'clock in the afternoon in the summer. You would never see a Spanish person do that. They're up and out first thing in the morning on there, because they like cycling. There's a lot of cyclists, runners. It's all first thing in the morning, or later on at night when the temperature's dropped again, or when it's gone dark, when the sun's gone. Certainly not in the afternoon. So I wish he wasn't. He hadn't done that. I wish he'd realised it. Why did he walk back? You know, apparently they took a boat there, didn't they, or something? Anyway, let's have a look and see where it says. I'm going to play some of the Australian news videos about it as well. So let's see. Now there'll be an advert. I'm going to play this video. It's only 55 seconds, but there'll be an advert at the start of it, I'm afraid. Yeah, so it seems he went on a boat to the beach. And then decided to do a coastal walk, but he didn't return to his accommodation. Now that's interesting, because on the PM on the Wednesday, a witness said they saw him in Pedi, but do you know what? Witnesses can't be that reliable. They've got some CCTV of him, though, I think. So they're looking for him all over. Yeah, drones, helicopters, dogs. They've got dogs out there. This is the last CCTV that we've seen of him. I mean, the thing is, if he's as a doctor, he should know he shouldn't be walking around. I mean, he's got an umbrella there to shade him, but even so, you know, you don't walk around in the afternoon. Well, that's what they say, isn't it? Only mad dogs and Englishmen sit out in the afternoon heat or whatever. So But anyway, the hope is, I suppose, that he is okay somewhere. Just so he didn't take his phone with him either. So he's gone for this walk in the heat in Greece, no phone. You know, we've talked about you need your phone. Of course you do. You could trip up, you could break your leg, anything could happen. So you should always take your phone with you. Anyway, so the search for missing TV Dr. Michael Mosley has become a race against time as rescuers shift focus to a snake-infested mountainous path. Well, that doesn't sound very good, does it? Amid soaring temperatures, bless him. The broadcaster's 4 children have now arrived on Simi to help in the hunt. How awful for them, according to the mayor of the Greek island. CCTV images show he's 67 years old. So he's not a young person doing it either. This is the thing I see a lot when I'm out in the afternoon. Like when I see people jogging, they're not young people. So apart from the fact they shouldn't be doing it anyway, you wouldn't see a Spanish young person jogging at 2 o'clock in the afternoon in the summer. But not only that, they're normally not young people because, the population in Spain, the people that live here, is an older population because, of course, a lot of them have retired out here, So, and you see them jogging and you just think, why are you jogging? Why are you jogging full stop? But why are you jogging at 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon in 40-degree temperatures? And I have known people that literally... known personally people, students from years ago who've gone out for a walk, a jog. There was one guy went to the gym in the morning. He was probably late 50s. Went to the gym in the morning, then at 2 o'clock decided to go for a jog. Got home and dropped dead. It's just too much in the summer. It's too much. You can do it in the winter. And then I knew another one, very similar case, doing too much, trying to climb a tree to rescue a cat. Instead of just phoning the fire brigade, you do the same here in Spain like you would in the UK. You phone the bomberos or the Guardia Civil or the Policía Local. They'll come and rescue the cat. You don't go up a ladder in a tree in the heat. And anyway, same thing happened to him. He rescued the cat. It came down from the tree and just dropped dead. So you've got to, another doctor, bless him, he should have known that really. You've got to respect the sun. I think this is what holidaymakers don't do, and that's just what I've learned to do because I've lived here for so long. You completely change the way you think about the sun. When I was young, it'd be like, oh, we're on holiday, I'd be on the beach every day, normally get burnt and spend 2 days then in bed covered in calamine lotion because you've gone too mad with the sun. But of course, being here now, having lived here all these years, I know, it's an hour maximum of sun for me. And in the summertime, no sun whatsoever. I mean, I'm like a vampire. I literally do not leave the house unless it's absolutely necessary. After 11 o'clock, once 11 o'clock comes, if I don't have to go out the house again, luckily for me, I work at home. I do the YouTube at home. So blinds down, aircon, fans on, and just wait until it goes cooler later on. And then I normally go up on the roof terrace and get some air then. But, you just got to think differently about the sun. So, of course, he's on holiday. It's good to see he's got that umbrella. He's got a cap on as well, but I don't think he's got any water with him. Where's his bottle of water? Anyway, it may be that he did have, some sort of medical episode. It may be that he tripped up. There's a lot of things, isn't there? We just don't know. So he said he probably thought he was getting exercise because he's quite a health guru, isn't he? Well, being a doctor, he will be. So having gone to the beach with his wife, Claire, and another couple, he preferred to return on foot, according to Athens-based newspaper Kathimerini. Now, the Greeks are probably thinking, well, what was he doing returning on foot? So Pedia is a small town in a bay around 1.2 kilometres from the beach. And these CCTV images captured by a restaurant appear to show Mosley wearing a dark t-shirt, shorts and a cap. He is carrying an umbrella. Separate footage seen by rescuers from a house at the edge of Paddy appears to show him entering a mountainous path heading inland, rather than following the coast or taking a more direct route towards the centre of the island. Strange, isn't it? So has he got lost? Has he taken the wrong path? Has he gone missing? Let's have a look at this. He might have.
I think you should find it hugely interesting. It is entertaining and it is incredibly informative about an animal you don't see a lot of. There are not many natural history programs about parasites, but I think they are probably the most fascinating animals on the planet.
Oh, that's right. He's fascinated with parasites, isn't he? So he might have just gone to explore a little bit. He might have thought, oh, I'll just go and explore, and then he might have got lost. You've got to think he may be okay. Let's have a look.
Obviously, the big story of the day today, TV doctor Michael Mosley has been reported missing whilst on holiday with his wife on an island in Greece.
Yeah, this is a real growing mystery. The massive search has been underway for around 48 hours now, with islanders and holidaymakers pitching in. So joining us now to get the latest on this is former Metropolitan Police Detective Peter Blexley. Good morning, Peter. In terms of a missing person...
Now, I love Peter Blexley, but I'm not really sure what he's got to do with this search, but I do love him. So you can see from that, so 48 hours. Every hour that passes is a worry, isn't it? God, if only he would have taken his phone with him, because they would have been able to track him, I'm sure, maybe find where he was from his phone. Why did he not take his phone back? Anyway, it's a lesson. You must take your phone with you. There are good things about being able to be tracked as well as bad things.
Person's case.
Where did it go? Where the hell did that go? No. It disappeared off there. Never mind. I'm not going to try and sit through another. So let's have a look on the Australian news channels. There seems to be quite a lot on the Australian news channels. And now I understand why. Because of what you were saying. I didn't realise he was well known in Australia. Why is it I can never find things? I find things so easily when I'm not looking for them. They pop up, and then when you're looking for something, it doesn't come up. Let's try missing doctor. There you go. Let's have a little look at this. What? How can it be impossible to find it? Oh, here's that Talk TV one. said he saw him waiting at the bus stop. The trouble is with witnesses, you know, eyewitnesses are not 100%, so we don't know if that genuinely was Dr. Mosley, but Mosley. Is it Mosley or Mosley? But strange that they said earlier in that other video that they might be impossible to find him. Are they thinking he's gone in the water? If he's gone in the water, he will be difficult to find. But if he's on the trail somewhere, I don't see how he would be impossible to be found. He will be found. It's just hopefully they can find him soon enough to get him medical attention if he needs it. $37 and you know, he is a doctor. He should have know better than to be out in 37 degrees at his age with no water. Well, he didn't have a bottle of water in his hand anyway. He had an umbrella at least, but just don't do it. I mean, but anyway, he's done it, and let's just hope he's okay. And it's just be a story for him to tell and a warning to give to other people. Just hope he's okay somewhere. Yeah, did he get on the bus? I mean, I've just seen that Rach was just saying there, hi Misty, hi Chumba, hi anyone I've missed coming in. Yeah, Rach was saying there that somebody said, and somebody else said, I think it was Claire, that he'd said he wasn't feeling very well. You know, but if he wasn't feeling very well, he really should not have walked up. That was a long walk. You imagine, would you want to do it? You know, whatever age you are, how young you are, how fit you are, you wouldn't want to do that walk. Why did he think he could do that? But anyway, I don't know. I mean, it's just surprises me, especially with him being a doctor. Now, if he thought he could get a bus, that's a different matter. If he thought there was a bus there that he could just bus back, or why didn't he go back on the boat that he came on? You know, anyway, I tell you, the sun, it is a killer, an absolute killer. Any of you out there, there's a few of you out there who live in hot countries or countries that are hot at certain times of year, like Australia or Spain or anywhere. But even in the UK, you know, when I lived in the UK, we used to go rambling every weekend. I love walking in the woods. I had this, you know, we were living in Reading, and I had this book of circular walks around Reading, and they were great. It would tell you where you park your car, you set off from there, and then you would do a circular walk, normally with a pub in the middle, like where you could have a pub lunch or whatever, and then come back to your car. You know, you'd end up back at your car. And they were all different lengths of walks, you know, go from a couple of miles to like 10-mile walks, you know, depending on what time you had and how much you felt like walking. And the only time I can ever remember having trouble on a walk, like literally, and I was, of course, a lot younger then, I was only 30 something, was one day. It was in the summer and it was hot. Not hot like it is in Greece or Spain, but, you know, maybe it was 20 odd degrees or something like that, which is about, I don't know about Fahrenheit, but is that about 70 Fahrenheit or something like that? Oh my God, it was like a nightmare. Just just even though I was so much younger and so much less heat, just I thought I was never going to get to the end of this walk. It was, you know, we had a little poodle. I used to take the poodle with us, and he was, you could never tire him out. I mean, God, he was a total bundle. He would walk all day, and then he'd come home and still want to play. But he was tired as well. You know, it was just like, and that was at 22 degrees or something. So yeah, whatever country you're in, just be careful when you walk. You should not walk or run or exercise in any way when it's hot, and that's something you learn when you live abroad. But well, of course, he's a doctor, he should know better, but let's just hope. This reminds me a bit of Samantha Murphy, isn't it? Because in the beginning we were thinking, we were almost hoping that she had had an accident, you know, because if she'd had an accident, tripped up, you know, I don't know, some sort of medical episode, there was a chance that she would be found and be able to get an ambulance to her, get to a hospital, and she'd be okay. You know, hope started to fade, obviously, the more days that went by. And then, of course, it turned out to be nothing to do with an accident. But that's how it feels now with Michael. You're sort of almost hoping he had a little accident because he didn't have his phone. He won't have been able to call for help or phone for help. So he could be somewhere alive. But yeah, so hot and everything. How many days can you stay alive if you've got no water, etc.? So let's hope we get some news today. It's a tiny island then, isn't it? 2,000 people living on it. I mean, my village has got that many people in it. Oh my God. Drones were a game changer, weren't they? You know, drones have been so essential in so many things. They've changed so many things. Search and rescue, they've changed war, they've changed so many things. Drones and the sort of invention and implementation of drones has been a complete game changer, hasn't it? Gosh, just hope and pray that today there's some news. Gosh, that's interesting. So, you know, I'd never really thought any foul play might have happened to him, but of course it might do. But, you know, it's unusual on a small island like that because people, you know, everybody knows everybody. It's, you know, even if you had people on there that were a little bit like nasty or, you know, it's how could they get away with it, you know? But maybe someone tried to rob him, but it didn't look like he had much on him, did he? When you look at it, that CCTV, he just had the umbrella, really. Didn't even have his phone with him. So unless someone tried to rob him because they thought he might have money in his wallet, it's very, very odd, this, isn't it? It's very, very strange and mysterious. So, you know, not only the fact that, of course, he's a TV personality that makes it sort of a big story, but it's so mysterious. And as far as the Greek authorities are concerned, they'll be wanting to get this cleared up pretty quick because they won't want any negative, you know, publicity as far as tourism is concerned, etc. And they'll be wanting to show that normally this is a safe place. So yeah, it gets curiouser and curiouser, really, doesn't it? Now, it's interesting. Maggie just said there, did he have any dementia? And that's the first thing as well that I thought of when I was thinking about it. Sort of didn't like to say because it's like, you know, I don't know if he's got any dementia or early onset or signs. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes it's because of events like this that people get discovered that they've got early onset dementia. There's I had a friend here in my town, and her father, her mum and dad, they only came out here every now and again in the winter. They didn't live here all year round because they were very elderly. But when I say elderly, fit, oh my God, you know, this guy, he'd been a Spitfire pilot during the war. He was a real character. He loved parachuting from planes, and he only stopped doing it when he got to the age of, I think it was either 80 or 90, because he couldn't get insurance anymore. That's the only reason he stopped jumping out of planes. You know, because it gets to a point where your insurance company just won't insure you because of your age. Anyway, they'd come over here sort of always in the winter. They had an apartment here and they would spend the winter, and he would go walking. He was, you know, he would walk miles, miles and miles. And then one day he got lost. He got completely lost. So he was doing a walk that he would do, like you walk through all the lemon trees. There's loads of different walks, you know, around the lakes, right to the beach. But he was doing a what we call campo walk. You know, campo is the countryside. And the problem is, it does all look the same when you get out there. So, if, you know, but he'd walk this walk, you know, a million times. And then he just got lost one day. He missed his way. He just got completely lost. But luckily, he had his phone with him. And he phoned up his wife, who got like a daughter and a partner to go and search for him. And he was just in the middle of like a field almost, or lemon trees, in the middle of lemon trees, and didn't have a clue where he was. And that was the first time that they realized he had the onset of dementia. He unfortunately, you know, this was quite a few years ago. He's passed away now, bless him. But he was, you know, he was well into his 90s when he passed away. So this could be something else that's happened to him, maybe set off. This is I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but I have this recurring dream that I dream that I get lost like that. It's a horror, like I get on the wrong bus, or I'm in a place where I'm unfamiliar and it's starting to get dark and I need to get home quick. before it gets dark, but I don't know where I am. It's a horrible feeling. That's a recurring dream that I have whenever I'm anxious. Like, I haven't had it for a while, but if I'm, when you're stressed or anxious about something, you can bet I'll have this dream. And that, that must be how it feels when you just suddenly, you're in a place that normally is familiar, and then you suddenly think, oh, where am I? So that's something that could have happened to him. He could have some dementia there. I mean, his family will know that if he's showed any signs. Sometimes you don't realise until there's an event like this. Now, hopefully then, if that was the case, he would be just lost somewhere and they will find him. No, no, it is wrong. If he'd been to that island before or on a regular basis, 100%, although they've probably not seen him on the telly, they knew who he was. Because in them little communities, word just spread. So they'll have known, if he was a regular visitor on that island, 100% the islanders would know that he was a famous TV doctor. Now, that may mean that somebody set out to rob him. You don't know, but they would definitely, it depends. If that's the first time he ever went there, then how would they know? But if if he was a regular visitor, in these villages, people talk and they, got nothing else to do. It's all about gossip, so I'm sure they all knew who he was. Yes, we've got elections. He says, as you know, he probably didn't know, but Europe has got elections, so that'll be all going on Sunday as well. Now, why did nobody tell me that I wasn't sharing that? I wasn't sharing. Nobody told me. Normally you tell me.
On the Greek island
Or maybe you did tell me and I just didn't hear you.
Missing
Hi,
by his
Tracy.
wife. Now, there's an extensive search
There you go.
place
Let's
on
watch
the
it.
island. Drones and a helicopter being deployed, trying to find the health expert and presenter. Let's now cross live to the Greek journalist Nicholas Vafiadis, who is there for us this evening. Evening to you, Nicholas.
Good evening, Christo.
So can I ask where you're based at the moment?
I'm based in Athens right now. There was a search and rescue team that left Athens to go to the island of Symi to assist in the big investigation. Dr. Mosley, but we have a new dimension right now. It's more mysteries said to this story, because there was actually a witness who said that he saw him after he crossed the dangerous trail uniting the beach of St. Nicholas and Pedi. He said that he saw him waiting at the bus stop at Pedi. In the beginning, the authorities didn't take him seriously. But right now, after examining security cameras in Pedi, they saw him holding actually an umbrella to protect himself from the scorching sun. There was like 37 degrees Celsius at the time. And he was crossing outside the restaurant. So he reached Pedi. He crossed safely
because the route between, you're quite right, the route between St. Nicholas and Pedi is this 12-kilometer stretch where it was presumed that because that was quite difficult terrain that something might have happened to him there. But now, because of this new CCTV footage, what you're saying is that now there seems to, the mysterious part seems to be that he got through the part that was considered to be dangerous and made it to the town.
Correct, Christian. But the thing is, did he go onto the bus, or I mean, he vanished before that? And so now the whole investigation takes another path, another route. It's not as if he stepped over and fell in the sea or whatever, as they thought in the beginning. Right now, they are actually questioning a lot of people on the island. Keep in mind that it is a small island. It's just 60 square kilometers, 2,500 people living on this island. Almost everybody knows where the others are. So there is a lot of people being questioned at the time by the authorities. The whole investigation has taken a huge dimension here in Greece. The fire brigade is involved. Even the army is involved, the police, the local police, a lot of volunteers from the area and from outside, the research and rescue team from Athens. They have helicopters, they have drones, they have sniffer dogs, they have everything. So now it is a different investigation, and everybody is hoping on the little island that Dr. Mosley is safe somewhere, but now the investigation takes another path.
And where was he actually staying? Was he staying in St. Nicholas or was he staying in Pedi?
He was staying in Yalos, another area. He needed to take the bus from Pedi to go to Yalos, where they were living at a friendly house the house of a friendly couple.
Yeah.
And between Pedi and Yalos, he vanished. So it's a different route that they are fully examining. They are taking with all the bus drivers of the island and everyone who might have seen him. They are looking for new witnesses, and it's a different investigation right now.
And obviously, so now it's focusing on whether he actually left Pedi or whether he is still somewhere within Pedi.
Or if other people are involved, because the authorities are trying to check everything. They checked that he really said goodbye to his wife on St. Nicholas Beach. His wife and the friends, the friendly couple that were with them, took a boat from there to go to Yalos. And he said that I'll walk and come home later. So he walked safely until Pedi. He waited at the bus stop, as one witness claims, and the pictures obviously that.
Yeah, so sorry about not sharing it before. Nobody told me, normally tell me. I suddenly looked at my computer and thought, oh God, it's not sharing. It's not like me, is it? Not to share. Anyway, so he was seen at the bus stop. And so it's thought that he got to the bus stop. So what happened to him after that?
That we have seen in the last few minutes out of some security cameras. He was in Pedi. So now the investigation moves between Pedi and Yalos.
And again, I know that we're kind of speculating at the moment, but if there is something more sinister that might have happened, or as you alluded to, other people's involvement, I mean, is that something that has happened often on Simi? Is it an island that has a lot of crime or not?
Simi has zero crime, actually. I mean, it's a small island, villagers. No, I mean, it's zero. So it is a mystery. It's a big mystery.
Sorry, press the wrong button.
The authorities are looking into every possibility, and they are looking into, which visitors are on the island, other visitors, other tourists. And so, I mean, the whole investigation has changed in the last couple of hours, has changed course, and we're waiting to see what happens. But all of the people on the island are really looking, for Dr. Mosley. Many people knew him, from his programs at the BBC, at ITV, from his writings in Mail, in Daily Mail, and all his activities. He was very well known, and many people also followed his diet, his 5-2, remittent diet.
Yeah.
So he was famous, and
So, but
everybody's looking for him.
is he, Nicholas? Is he famous in Greece?
Well, I mean, many people know of him, but he's not as famous as in the UK. But he was famous on the island because, people tend to ask questions.
Yeah, so this is what I was saying earlier. Even if they don't know him off the telly, if he's a regular visitor on a small island like that with 2,000 people living there, everybody will know about him, because that's like jungle drums in these little communities, like same as my community. People know things about you that you've never even spoke to. People know about you.
Small community, and they heard that he was famous, and that really ignited more appetite for news on his Spanish.
And just finally, is it, I mean, obviously we're talking about it massively over here, is it a big story in Greece now? Are all of the news networks talking about this in Greece?
It's almost the top news story of the day, apart from the Euro elections. As we're having Euro elections on Sunday, so apart from the elections, it's the top story.
It is a mystery. Really interesting to get your perspective, especially on that route and that timeline as well. Nicholas Vafiadis, thank you very much indeed for taking the time to talk to us here on Talk. What a mystery. So it did seem quite cut and dried that he was trying to get to Pevi from the St. Nicholas beach. Rather than taking the boat, he took the 12-kilometer route, which was, there were parts of it that were quite difficult terrain. However, he seemed to have made that to Pevi because of the CCTV footage that has now been released showing that he made it there, which meant that he had to get on a bus to continue the journey. And that's where he seems so far.
Yeah, so complete mystery. And we'll keep our eyes on that, of course. If anybody hears any news while I'm on stream, because I'm going to go and talk about something else now. But yeah, total mystery, isn't it? Complete, absolute mystery. So the guy's decided that he wants to go back to the hotel room. He's done the walk that was supposed to be the most dangerous part, and seems to have completed that okay. Got to the bus stop and then never been seen again. So it's getting, curiouser and curiouser, isn't it? So, yeah, but I'm going to talk about something else now. So we're going to move off. So we're going to look at a little bit of a light-hearted look at, by the way, hi, anyone I've missed coming in. I know Heather came in. Not sure who else came in there. Hi, Julie. I don't think I've said hello to you. Anyone who I've not said hello to, I'm sorry, because I was watching that. But anyway, hi to everybody. Thank you for all of you that are watching, and also you watching from home. If you're not in the chat, hi to you as well. So, right, so we're going to have a little bit of an irreverent look, or a light-hearted look at the UK elections and what's happened so far. It's like a week is certainly a long time in politics, isn't it? And honest to God, this is when I do love Twitter, when and for political things. You can't go wrong with Twitter, just the things that come up on there and the parodies and, and I love all that. It's just for all parties. It's just funny to see them making total idiots of themselves half the time. But before I start to talk about, I'm going to talk about, various of the different parties and good things have done and bad things have done. I was struggling to find something good that Rishi Sunak had done this week. But I just want to show you this because I know somebody on there earlier said they were going to vote reform, which is fine. Yeah, don't blame you. But this is something that I saw on Twitter that I thought was quite funny. But you know what? I could go right down Twitter and show you all these videos, and there's so many things. These are people trying to be politicians, trying to be the creme de la creme. I mean, he does look young, this guy. But this is George Woodward, who's the parliamentary candidate for Reform in Leon Atherton. That's in the north, not far from Manchester. And this is an interview he did.
What was it that made you decide that you wanted to get involved?
It was the state of the country, I think. Mainly migration is what drives me to get involved. I think I had a moment last year. I was coming through an airport and I was at the arrivals, at the British border, and I was like, wow, there's a lot of people coming in here, and we need to re-examine this.
What, the airport?
At the airport. At the airport. So people trying to get into Britain at the airport. Oh my God. We've got to stop all this migration, people trying to come into Britain through the airport.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of those were really tourists, presumably, or British people coming back from abroad on
some
holiday.
Some of them, yeah. Some of them, absolutely. Some not, so you can tell.
What was it that made you decide that you wanted to
get involved?
It was the state of the country, I think. Mainly migration is what drives me to get involved. I think I had a moment last year. I was coming through an airport and I was at the arrivals, the British border, and I was like, wow, there's a lot of people coming in here, and we need to re-examine this.
What, the airport?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of those were really tourists, presumably, or British people coming back from abroad on holiday.
Some of them, yeah. Some of them, absolutely.
So forget the boats. There were too many people at the airport trying to come into Britain. I thought that last time I came back to Spain, I thought there's just too many British people trying to come. I was at the airport and I was struck by all these British people coming into Spain. And, no wonder the Spanish have become xenophobic. I mean, for God's sake, you couldn't make it up, could you? These are the people that are standing to be candidates. How thick are they that he was upset at the airport? Anyway, so that's just something I want to show you. There's a million and one things I want to talk about. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is, can Rishi Sunak do anything else wrong? I mean, he started off badly by standing in the rain, announcing the election, getting soaked wet through, not using an umbrella for someone, no reason why, whether he was trying to show what a tough man he was or whatever, but it just showed really what an idiot he was. That was the first thing he did wrong. Then, of course, he was sat with all those Welsh people and asked them if they were looking forward to the football when Wales hasn't qualified for the football. Then he would let himself be... then he went to the Titanic, the place where the Titanic was built. And, I think his PR people are doing it on purpose. Honestly, I do. They keep dropping him in it. Then he had his photo taken with an exit sign above his head. Then he did a talk at a biscuit factory and he put two plants in there, two Tory councillors in high-vis jackets asking questions who weren't even working there, but made it look as if they were workers at this factory. Let me think, what else did he do? Then the worst thing he's done, though, of course. Then there was the debate, the leaders' debate, wasn't it, the other night? It was pretty boring. I didn't think either of them came over particularly, well, really. I mean, Rishi Sunak just shouted his way through it. He was shouty, he was petulant. He had nothing to say. The problem for Rishi Sunak is he has nothing to defend or to say, well, look, we've done this over these 14 years of Tory government. There's nothing that he can point at and say, look, this is better now because of the Tories, or even this is better now because of my premiership. There is nothing. So all he's got to cling on to is like shouting, and he made up this lie, didn't he, about the 2,000 extra pounds of tax that Labour's going to give them, and then it was approved as a lie the following day by the civil service, and things like, so it was another bad look for him, wasn't it? Then, of course, the other thing that he did that he's done this week, which I don't think he'll ever recover from, and I don't think he should recover from. So, of course, it was D-Day, the anniversary of D-Day this week, and all the leaders got together in France, didn't they, and had this, commemoration and thanking the people, thanking the veterans. And of course, every year there's less veterans because, they're getting on now. These, most of them are not with us anymore, but there are still a few that are with us. And, they come out every year, and the British veterans made that big trip, and that's a big trip for them to go over to France. They're probably normally, just at home, they're quite frail, they're elderly, very elderly people. And they made that big effort because that's another sacrifice, if you like. They're doing it because they know it's important. Off Rishi Sunak went, he only stayed for the British part of it. And then he buggered off back home and didn't stay for the rest of the day with the other leaders, Joe Biden, Macron, President Macron. Oh gosh, I've forgotten what the German guy's called now. Is it Cole, President Cole? And we were stuck with bloody David, I put my what's it in a pig's mouth, Cameron, because our leader, our Prime Minister, didn't think it was important enough to stay for. He decided he was going to go home back to the UK to defend his £2,000 lie that he made. He decided he was going to do that and stuff the veterans. And I don't think, he doesn't realise just how important that was, that gaffe that he made. And that fact that he doesn't realise it just shows how disconnected he is from British values and because even me, and I'm, what I'm like, I'm not, my father fought in the war. I know that the war veterans, it's the most important thing, isn't it, every year? And it was an 80-year anniversary. It was an anniversary as well. There was all reasons. Anyway, so he's apologised. So this is the apologies put out. So the 80th anniversary of D-Day has been a profound moment to honour the brave men and women who put their lives on the line to protect our values, our freedom and our democracy. This anniversary should be about those who made the ultimate sacrifice for our country. The last thing I want is for the commemorations to be overshadowed by politics. So then you turn around and telling people don't politicise it. But now he's politicising it himself. And the thing is, if he would never have done it in the first place, people won't be politicising it. He shouldn't. Honestly, even, one of the people in his own party have resigned over it because they cannot believe what he's done. It's like been the final straw of this rubbish guy. Sorry, but Rishi Sunak, he does not have British values. He's got 3 nationalities. He's not, I've got more British values than him. I don't even live in Britain. That doesn't mean to say that I don't want Britain to be great again, if you like. That's my whole thing about this government, is the way that the British reputation of the British has gone downhill over the last 14 years. We are a joke in the rest of Europe. Brexit had a lot to do with it. We just have no respect anywhere. And that will have made it even worse, because there where you had Joe Biden, you had Macron and Scholl, I think he's called, the German guy. And then you had David Cameron, who's like a failed politician who once put his in a dead pig's mouth and was made a lord just arbitrarily, just so that he could become foreign minister, like a dying gesture from a dying government that just made everything look worse in our international standing. So then he said, I care deeply about veterans and have been honoured to represent the UK at a number of events in Portsmouth and France over the past 2 days, and to meet those who fought so bravely. After the conclusion of the British event in Normandy, I returned back to the UK. On reflection, it was a mistake not to stay in France longer. and I apologise. So everyone's supposed to say now, oh, that's okay, Rishi. God, you know, you made a mistake, but you're owning up to it. Come on, you are the Prime Minister. That's the Prime Minister of Britain did not realise it was important for him to stay and be with all the other world leaders on a day as important as that. And I'll tell you something, he can complain about Russia all he wants, but in Russia that'll have been a big celebration as well, because I didn't even realise till I had Russian students who told me it's a massive celebration in Russia, D-Day, etc. You know, they make a big thing of it, because we mustn't forget that Russia we didn't win the war on our own. You know, we just didn't. And Russia was a big part of it as well. So even they respect the end of the Second World War. And this guy just thought he could go back, you know, just it wasn't important enough for him to stay with the other leaders, when even President Biden thought it was important enough, you know, and he lives miles away. I mean, it's just crazy. And I think that literally will be the end of Rishi if he had any chance whatsoever. I don't think he realizes how much, you know, that will have done people in, if you like. So last night we had another TV debate, which I thought was a lot more entertaining than the one we had on Tuesday. Let's just see if I can get a picture up. Because the other thing that happened this week, God, you can't, I think it was this week, I don't know, you can't get so many things going on, was that Nigel Farage, the fragrant Nigel Farage, a man who's probably done more damage to this country than any, who, you know, anyway, don't even get me started on him. I know a lot of people think he's great, but, well, there you go. A lot of people think Putin's great. So he was on this debate, wasn't he? Which was, of course, Penny Mordaunt, which was so funny because I call her Penny Dreadful. Because I felt sorry for her, to be honest, because she knew she was going into that debate with all this news about Rishi Sunak in the background. And, you know, she knew at the end of the day, as the incumbent government, if you're the incumbent government, you're going to get a lot of hassle, aren't you? Why is that not hang on? Oh, sorry, let me share it. So, yeah. Penny Dreadful, Angela Rayner. A lot of people don't like Angela Rayner. I love Angela Rayner. She's from Manchester and she's refreshing because, you know, Keir Starmer is a little bit of a grey man, isn't he? Or a bit boring. Not that I mind that. I want a bit of boring, but Angela Rayner puts a bit of colour in everything and a bit of liveliness. And anyway, Penny Mordaunt, she's not the worst one of the Tories. I felt a bit sorry for her because she's trying to defend the indefensible. Because obviously one of the first questions she was asked was, what do you think about Rishi Sunak not staying for the D-Day celebrations? And she said, oh, it was very wrong. So a lot of people are saying she wants to be Prime Minister, head of the Conservative Party. She's tried before. But she didn't get enough votes within the Conservative Party, you know, to stand. So she dropped out of the leadership race last time and put her support behind Liz Truss. It really says all you need to know, I think. But anyway, so there was Penny. I did feel a little bit sorry for her because all anyone was talking about as well was her hair. I don't know if you watched the debate, but her hair was quite sort of strange. It was like some bouffant, I don't know what it was, but so that was typical Twitter or typical social media. I think especially with women, it goes into more what they look like, what the hair looks like. You know, and all that. And Penny's hair, she should have done something different with her hair, because you know that when you go on the TV, I suppose it don't matter what you do with your hair, someone's going to like it, someone's not going to like it. You know, you have to learn a thick skin, don't you, when you go on the TV these days. But so it was Penny and Angela and then that from obviously the Conservative Party and the Labour Party. Then we had Stephen Flynn from the Scottish National Party. Now, he's very good, Stephen Flynn. I have a lot of respect for him, but unfortunately, I know there's a lot of Scottish people out there in my chatters. You tell me if I'm right or wrong, but I'm only know from students that I've got. I think the Scottish National Party is sort of had it really because of all the scandal involved with it, and they've had a chopping and changing of leadership, and which is a shame because I think Stephen Flynn actually he's quite an intelligent guy. I agreed with a lot of things that he was saying, but unfortunately I wish he would just join Labour, just join Labour, Stephen. Then for the Liberal Democrats they had Daisy Cooper, she's good. Green Party, Carla Denyer, she was very good, if any of you watched her. And then, of course, the Reform Party, we had Nigel Farage and Plaid Cymru. We had Rune Ap IOF. Sorry, apologise for my Welsh. Now, I don't normally agree with Nigel Farage, but one thing I did agree with him is he said that about Rishi Sunak, that the reason that Rishi Sunak even you couldn't even consider not staying if you were British and you had real British values. You could have not even considered not being there, not staying to the end for that commemoration, just couldn't have considered it. And he said, and I did agree with him, that just showed how disconnected Rishi is from, the whole, British identity, because that's very important, isn't it? Very important to people. That the Second World War might be 80 years ago, but it's a big thing, so yeah. So of course Andrew Snowden, I'm really struggling not to answer some of his comments, but I'm not going to. So here was Stephen. Now this was a good bit. Look at his face. The snake oil salesman who delivered Brexit. Yeah, I agree with you there, Stephen. But there you go. There was Penny's hair. That was the biggest topic of conversation on Twitter last night. And as the night went on and she got angrier and angrier because she was very shouty and pointy fingers. I don't know if you watched it or not, but she seemed to follow Rishi's lead in the debate he did. And she was just really shouting and pointing her finger at Angela Rayner. Like, it's really annoying that when someone points their finger at you, she was like this in her face. And luckily, Angela did not just slap her across the face, which she must have been quite tempted to do. But look, you can just see in her face there, she's probably thinking, oh, how did I get roped into this? And of course, she was already roped into it when before Rishi did his ridiculous stupid thing of coming back to coming back before staying to the end of the commemorations for D-Day. So you can tell she's probably thinking, I'm going to kill that Rishi when I get hold of him. How dare, why he did that? He set me up for this. And also Stephen goes on to say the Labour Party too, they're not talking about Brexit. Nobody's talking about it. exports are at a record high. Do you know, they had a fact checker there, and do you know, these people, when they come on here, any of them, and they just tell blatant lies like that, exports are not at a record high. When they do that, because there's tax on every, I can't even have something delivered here from the UK now without there being a massive tax on it. You know, there's tax on everything. Businesses have gone out of Britain and gone into Europe because they can't deal from Britain, because they have to pay tax on anything they want to send outside Britain. Do you know, it's just like this total denial and thinking people are stupid enough to believe it. Brexit has been the biggest act of self-harm by a country that I can ever remember. And the thing is, not for rich people. Rich people have done well out of Brexit. That's why all the lies were told in the first place. Brexit has been good. The more money you've got, the more money you'll have now, or the more money you had, the more money you'll have now. But Brexit hasn't been good for any normal person, working person. Okay. I agree with him. The Labour Party's not speaking up enough about it. Look, she looks really annoyed with him as well. No, you won't. Unfortunately, the SNP will not provide it, but he's right what he's saying all the same. Okay, now, so then, just as if things weren't bad enough for Rishi Sunak, then he was doing an event. You know, he only goes to events where there's Tories there, of course. You know, they want to go where they know they're going to be appreciated. And a doctor stood up and started, they call it heckling him, but she started challenging him. And she's a member of the Tory party. And she challenged his assertion, you know, that she said, you can't get other people to do the work of doctors. So, you know, what they're going to do, bring in like agency doctors. You know, she said, you need to train GPs. You can't bring in anybody else to do it. So we got all that hassle from her. And then it turned out she was a Tory member. So many people they've alienated. And if people are not going to vote Tory, then they'll vote Reform. And, you know, not that Nigel didn't go down very well in this particular debate, but a lot of people think he's great. Oh, of course, then he had a milkshake thrown over him as well. I don't know if you saw that. Let's see if we can get that. Oh, I just want to show that. Look, Rishi's just legging it, and they've got, that is just typical. But anyway, never mind. Where am I? Nigel Farage and his milkshake. Now, I want to say I don't agree with this. I don't agree with throwing milkshakes over politicians. I don't agree with anything like that. Throwing eggs at the king or throwing milkshakes, or much as I don't like Charlie Boy and that, but I don't believe in anything like that. But it was, look, you can see this girl coming up here. It's this young girl here. Apparently she's an OnlyFans model. Why she did it, I don't know. But she sort of comes up the stairs here. It's not the first time he's had something thrown on him, of course. Ooh. So, yeah, well, she's been arrested and charged with assault. And as I say, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with her being arrested. I do, but I don't agree with throwing things at politicians. Have I shared that? Let me just make sure. I don't think I have shared it either. Right, let me share it. Good job I remembered. So, yeah, here she is, this girl here. Woo! So, yeah, not a good thing to do, but, you know.
That's not from any of us.
I don't think his security is very good, Nigel Farage. He's always getting things thrown over him. I mean, people don't seem to be able to protect him very well. Let's just watch that again from the beginning. So yeah, she's been arrested and charged with assault, I think. Apparently she's an OnlyFans model. Why she did it, who knows? Because the thing is, Nigel, despite last week saying he was definitely not standing in the election because he hadn't had enough time to prepare, and there was a very important election going on in America that he was going to help with. I mean, what a patriot he is. You know, there he was saying, "Oh, I'm not going to do anything in the British election because there's a very important election in America I'm going to help with." Well, of course, in the meantime, Donald Trump has been found guilty on 34 counts, and who knows what will happen to Donald Trump. Though personally, I think it's made him even more popular, and I think Donald Trump will win. Hands down, he will win. Unless and Joe Biden, with all the best respect, he's too old. He's too old, and he's definitely sort of, talk about senile dementia, he's definitely got, you know, some sort of dementia, and they need to. Why is that the best that America's got to offer, Donald Trump or Joe Biden? There's got to be other people, younger people, you know. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, so of course then Donald Trump got convicted, 34 counts of whatever it was. So suddenly now Nigel's not going to America anymore. Suddenly announced he's going to stand at Clacton-on-Sea, a place where he's got absolutely no connection with, but he must think he's got a chance of winning it, though he has never won an election. So that's one thing he's got in common with Rishi Sunak. He has never won an election. He stood 8 times. Nigel Farage got all arsey the other day with a reporter that was asking him about it. What makes you think you're going to get voted in this time when you've not been voted in 8 other times? I'll try and find that video to show you, because I think it gives you a good insight into the sort of personality he is. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. I really don't agree with that.
Like we've never seen before, and they deserve to pay a price for that. A big price for that. As for Labour, well, I've got no confidence that they'll reduce the numbers coming in either. And you know the problem? These people, unlike you in Clacton, they're not genuinely patriotic people. They don't believe in Britain. And
yeah, so he actually said, you know, he is an inciter of hatred. I understand what he's saying in some ways. He's saying these people, like the immigrants, means that are coming in, you know, they're not really got British values, etc. And this is the man that was going off to America to help with the election in America rather than helping with the British election originally. So, you know, how he has the right to say that, I don't know. But he tried to sort of talk like that last night on the election debate, and he was shot down by Stephen Flynn, to be honest. And that, you know, he didn't go down very well with the audience. Because, you know, whatever people think, we do need immigrants. We need them. We need the right kind of immigrants. Well, unfortunately, Brexit sort of hasn't helped that.
The British people the way you do. But am I right in thinking? Yes! Is this not the most patriotic town in the whole of our country?
So apparently Clacton-on-Sea is the most patriotic town in the whole country now. He said he made many disparaging remarks about Clacton before, but now, of course, no, it's the most patriotic country in the world now. Place in Britain, but wasn't earlier before he stood as candidate. Let's see if I can find that Nigel Farage interview where he got a bit snarky. Let's see. And most of the videos that are coming up are about how he's announced he's not standing for Parliament because, of course, that's what he said before. Why can't I find that? Let me see. I'll have a look on Twitter because sometimes on Twitter you can find things. Sorry. Oh, here it is. I found it. Okay. So he got really snarky with this TV presenter about being
successful. You've been on a ballot paper as a candidate or a prospective candidate 7 times between 1994 and 2015.
Yeah. You don't get it, you people. Yeah, you don't. You
no,
really
I'll explain
don't
it
get
to
it,
me.
you people, do you? You really don't get it, do you?
don't get it.
was a campaign group who decided that by standing in elections, it was a better way than getting our message out than being a pressure group. And the first election we fought, there were 342 of us that stood, and one person saved their deposit. That just happened to be me. We weren't there to win seats. That was an impossibility. We were there to push a cause. And that was the case for the first 20 years of UKIP's life. But you know something? As it turns out, we were the most successful pressure group in modern history.
But once again, you were a candidate. You call it a pressure group, call it a party. You were a candidate to be an MP on a ballot paper in an election.
Mate. How many times have you stood?
How
many times have you stood? What do you know about it? How many times have you stood?
I'm asking you the
There you
question,
go.
Mr. Farage. I mean, the challenge here is people will say, look, you've tried it before,
Well, I tell you
you
what,
didn't manage
ask
to do
something
it.
intelligent.
What makes this time any
Ask something
different?
intelligent, and we'll carry on with the conversation, shall we?
I'm interested in why people should trust you that 7 times
Pass.
previously you didn't manage to do
Pass.
that.
No.
You also
I think you're very, very boring, and I think your viewers will find you very boring, and you ought to do rather better as the state broadcaster, in my view.
There you go. That's the, you know, to me, see, that is the real Nigel Farage. Is like a nasty, like pathetic little man, and when he can't get his own way, if people aren't agreeing with him, you know, politicians have to deal with people challenging them all the time. That's supposed to be it in a democracy, isn't it? You know, this is another thing with Rishi Sunak. He gets really testy and really petulant, like, how dare you challenge me? But he, you know, if you don't want to be challenged, don't be a politician, because people are going to challenge you. Not everybody who talks to you is going to think you're great and agree with everything you say, but he really shows his true colours. He's like a big kid. But I hope everybody votes for him, seriously, because every vote for him is a vote against the Tories, as far as I'm concerned.
I just want to pick you up on that claim too, that you've only stood once before, and I put it to you that you've tried 7 times and not been successful. You've been on a ballot paper as a candidate or a prospective candidate 7 times between 1994 and 2015.
Yeah. You don't get it, you people. Yeah, you don't. You
no,
really
I'll explain
don't
it
get
to
it,
me.
you people, do you? You really don't get it, do you?
Don't get it.
UKIP was a campaign group who decided that by standing in elections, it was a better way than getting our message out than being a pressure group. And the first election we fought, there were 300 22 of us that stood, and one person saved their deposit. That just happened to be me. We weren't there to win seats. That was an impossibility. We were there to push a cause. And that was the case for the first 20 years of UKIP's life. But you know something? As it turns out, we were the most successful pressure group in modern history.
But once again, you were a candidate. You call it a pressure group, call it a party. You were a candidate to be an MP on a ballot paper in an election.
Mate. How many times have you stood?
Okay,
How many times
I'm
have
just
you
asking.
stood? What do you know about it? How many times have you stood?
I'm asking you the
There you
question,
go.
Mr. Farage. I mean, the challenge here is people will say, look, you've tried it before,
Well, I tell you what,
didn't manage
ask
to do
something
it.
intelligent.
What makes this time any
Ask something
different?
intelligent, and we'll carry on with the conversation, shall we?
I'm interested in why people should trust you
There you
that
go.
7 times
Pass.
previously you didn't manage to do
Pass.
that.
Pass.
No,
Pass.
no.
You also
I
love-
think you're very, very boring, and I think your viewers will find you very boring. And you
Well,
ought to be
you're
one of
not
the very
boring,
distinct
Nigel. I suppose
broadcasters,
you could
in
say
my
that
view.
about you. No, he's not boring, is he? He's not boring. But you know, just imagine him. Imagine if he was Prime Minister and he's meeting, I don't know, Joe Biden or Macron or some other world leader, Pedro Sanchez. And they ask him a question and he goes, well, what have you ever done? Have you ever done that? Have you? Well, ask me a sensible question. Ask me a question I can answer. He's a politician. He's a politician. He's supposed to be able to have a reasoned argument. He's not supposed to act like a petulant, spoiled brat of a child. But anyway, there you go. There's Nigel Farage for you. In my opinion, of course, I know a lot of people like Nigel Farage, like a lot of people like Donald Trump. And, you can't, everyone's entitled to their opinion about these people. I'd just like to know one good thing that Nigel Farage has done for Britain, really, to be honest. What has been good about Brexit? What has been good about anything? What could the Tory party turn around tomorrow and say, vote for us, not just vote for us because Keir Starmer's crap, but vote for us because we've done this, this and this. What have they done positive? That would be the only question I would ask. What have they done that is positive in 14 years of government? What is better about Britain now after their government? That's the question I would ask. All the rest of it is irrelevant. There is nothing that is better. Well, maybe there is. Maybe you could come up with something. And I might not live in Britain, luckily, but all my family live in Britain. And, I still am British and I may want to go back there one day. And just watching it from the sidelines in dismay over the last 14 years, but particularly since Brexit, anyway. So that's all I want. I want someone. I don't think Nigel Farage is the person to restore gravitas to Britain, to make us. He turned his back on the European Parliament. They were singing childish songs. It was like the Benny Hill show. Instead of just leaving Europe gracefully, and and the Europeans were graceful towards us. It was like a Carry On film exit, wasn't it? This is what I don't like about Nigel Farage. It's not even his views. It's the way he conducts himself. I'd like to see a politician who looks like a statesman, like they used to, even whether you agreed with them or not. At least they had respect on the world stage or whatever. That's what I'd like to see. Anyway. So, yeah, there's something wrong with politics these days, I think. Wildcat's saying we need new people, but at this point we can't find good people. Why not? Where are all the good politicians? Politicians, I think being a politician, because it's not a fun job, really, I suppose. So you get these people are just trying to, we've got this influx of politicians. They're not trying to make things better for their country. That, to me, would be my idea of a politician, a prime minister or a president. It should be for your country. And it should be, that's why I'd like to personally see proportional representation, because it's not just if you're right or you're left or you're far right or far left or in the centre, all these. Why can't we have a government that's got a bit of everybody in there? So you're getting ideas from all different sides. You know, that's what happens when we have a war. You know, hopefully we won't have another war, but you get war governments where everybody sort of, they're realising they do the best for the country and they take voices from all sides. I mean, it might come down to the Prime Minister's decision finally, but you can sit and take advice from all sides. That is what proportional representation is. So I'm hoping that one day Britain might see that, because I think at the moment it's too choppy changey. Labour will probably win, but they've got to now fix everything that the Tories have done, and then probably by the time they get a bit better, then the next minute the Tories will be back in. Instead of, there's no continuity in government, is there? But anyway. Okay, so Tracy, you should vote, please, everybody. You should vote, and Pauline, tell your sons to vote. It's important to vote. I was talking to one of my students yesterday. In the last election, he spoiled his ballot paper just because he didn't want to vote for Jeremy Corbyn. He didn't want to vote for Boris Johnson. He didn't feel there was any. So even if you do that, even if they go along and spoil their ballot paper, they're making a statement. You've got, in my opinion, you should go and make a statement one way or the other. Spoil your ballot paper, vote for who you think will be the best for your locality. Vote for someone. Even vote for the Green Party. Vote. Oh, I haven't spoke about the Lib Dems. I nearly forgot about the Lib Dems. So the Lib Dem leader, Ed Davey. Now he's an interesting character, because some people are saying that the Lib Dems will end up being the second party. That the Conservatives might just evaporate in this election. I tell you what, as long as they've got Rishi Sunak as leader, they're not going to do well. They're definitely not going to do well. Could be a complete wipeout, because he's not popular. He's not popular, and what he did on the D-Day celebrations has just finished it off, really. I don't think he's got any comeback from there whatsoever. He's an entitled, jumped up little sort of, I don't know, he lives in a bubble. He's got no idea of how it is for normal people. He's in a different world. He cannot possibly understand how people feel. On the leadership debate that he did with Keir Starmer the other day, somebody in the audience was saying about COVID, about they'd lost their parent, I think it was, in COVID, and while the Conservative Party were partying and blah blah blah, and Rishi Sunak just talked over it. Really, he showed no empathy whatsoever, no genuine regret for the partying that went on at Downing Street, and he says he just got there early and just happened upon this party, and he was sorry and blah blah blah, but he didn't show any empathy to what he's incapable of empathy. Now that's something that Ed Davey is very good at empathy. So Ed Davey is the leader of the Lib Dems, and he has his son has got severe learning difficulties. So a video was released of him. Now this might make you cry. It made me cry. It doesn't take much to make me cry. But he released a video of him.
Right. Lunchtime.
What does a typical day look like for you, Ed?
It's busy. A lot depends on what carer help we've got, but I'm always involved in John's care. I like to be the one who gets John up in the morning, so he sees me. I get him up because he can't walk. Come on, my sweetheart. Come on. We're gonna have some lunch. We have those games with him because it enables him to speak and to practice communicating. So I was born in Nottinghamshire in Mansfield Woodhouse. My parents had 3 boys. I was the youngest. My mum was a teacher. And she'd met my dad when he was doing national service. But unfortunately, he developed cancer in November 1969 and died in the March. This feels so weird. So many memories. Walk up and down here every day, school. Oh, this brings back the big house. Wonderful family lived there, the Malhotras. Very kind to us. When Mum was ill, they used to make this amazing real curries. It's like I'm in a time warp. It's a lot, quite similar. Wow. Takes me back. My uncle built this. After my dad died, we were living in Sutton in Ashfield. The idea was we would come to Nottingham so we could be near our school. And so it was a happy period. And then Mum became ill. And we had a mantra, sort of, we take each day as it comes. Just take each day as it comes, because you didn't know what was going to happen. No one knew. So she died 46. Dad died 38.
Oh my God.
Spent hours talking to my mum on her bed. I remember this one time I'd gone on a trip to Germany for like 2 days with the school, and showed the picture to my mum. I wonder who you'll end up with.
Oh,
she was thinking about what would happen to me.
Do you think she would have been proud of you?
Sorry.
Oh.
This is actually quite difficult times. I'd like to think she'd be proud of me. I think she would be. I hope so.
I think she
You can get through some quite tough times. I mean, so many people have to, right? So many people. You know, you can get through if you've got love from family and from friends. And I was very lucky. I had lovely grandparents, supportive brothers. It was a tough job caring. But family carers who do the vast bulk of caring. Governments have just ignored them, just not listened to them. The one thing I think one's got to get over about care and being a carer is you develop amazing relationships. I had an amazing relationship with my mum, my gran, my son. Really special. As I've got older and had all these caring responsibilities, seen life through the eyes of my son, could not be more passionate, determined to sort out caring in this country. This isn't just my story. It's the story of millions. Caring for each other, dealing with tough times, keeping going with love. That's why I got into politics. That's who the Liberal Democrats will fight for every day.
Oh my God. Well, I don't know about you if you've got a dry eye, because I haven't. I just thought that was so, you know, that the empathy from Ed. So, you know, if I was in an area that I didn't think Labour could get in, I would definitely vote Lib Dem. You know, in fact, I feel like I should vote Lib Dem anyway. But is there empathy there? You know, it's important. Empathy. There's such a lack of empathy in the Tory party, and Keir Starmer, I think he's got empathy, but Ed, because he's literally going through it, you know, as a carer. Sorry, I'm really upset now. Just, this is what the thing is, people go through, you know, as he said, lots of people go through all these struggles every day, caring for relatives, caring for children. And if you've got children that have got learning difficulties, it's especially difficult. And as they get older, it's especially difficult. Sorry, I think I'm going to burst into tears. Oh God, I can't get through a video without crying. You know, if you've got children with learning difficulties, it only gets harder as they grow older, of course, and they become adults. That's even harder to deal with, isn't it? So, you know, someone like Ed Davey, I think he can. I think one thing you can be sure that you'll get from him is empathy. Now, and of course, the other thing the Liberal Democrats are famous for in this campaign is they do a lot of, he's done a lot of stunts. Ed Davey, like for attention, like falling off a sailboat, a windsurf thing. And let's see, I wonder if I can find his videos of his stunts. Oh dear. So I suppose because the Lib Dems are a smaller party and they've got to attract attention, I suppose, in different ways, they've become sort of famous for these stunts that they do, but there's a serious message behind them, according to Ed. Let's have a look what it says here. So let me share this. So he's done these various stunts, but he says every stunt has a serious message, a very serious message behind it. So very serious message behind comic Lib Dem campaign stunts, says Sir Ed Davey. So he's done the bike ride, the falling off. I mean, he definitely fell off on purpose. Though how he could have gone into that water that's probably full of sewage, I don't know. I couldn't go in a river or the sea in the UK now. So behind Sir Ed Davies' comic campaign trail stunts, there is a very serious message, the Liberal Democrat leader has said. Flipping burgers in the back garden on the campaign trail in Wiltshire, the party leader also said he was really sorry about a speeding incident which hit the headlines yesterday. He said his stunts on the campaign trail, which include toppling from a paddleboard into Windermere in the Lake District, speeding down the ultimate slip and slide near Frome, Somerset, come with serious policy messages, and others can make their own views about his strategy. Well, he's doing it to attract attention, isn't it? It certainly has attracted attention. One of the most important policies for Sir Ed that the Liberal Democrats are pledging is free day-to-day care for adults in need, including the elderly and disabled, as well as a legal right for cancer patients to have their treatment start within 62 days from an urgent referral. Do you know what? I couldn't believe that when I saw that. 62 days, and that's supposed to be good. Do you know, someone I know here, they found they had a cough, then they coughed up some blood. So they went to the hospital, and within a week, they were having their treatment because they've got cancer. They've got lung cancer, tumours. Within a week, they were having their treatment. They finished their first round of treatment now. They had intensive radiotherapy treatment, and they had two tumours. The good news is one of the tumours has disappeared. And the bad news is the other tumour is still there, but it is smaller than it was. So they've got to decide now, the hospital, whether they're going to give them more treatment or not. But that was within a week. That's one thing. 62 days from an urgent referral. And this is something he's campaigning for. So what is it at the moment? How long do you have to wait for an urgent referral when you've been diagnosed with cancer in the UK? That's disgusting. You'd be dead before you even go for your first treatment. You know, here in Spain, there's something wrong. The NHS in Britain, honestly, and it's not because of COVID. We've had COVID here as well. The thing is, here we concentrate on the Spanish health system. It's not perfect. No system is perfect. But as far as urgent responses are, it is first class. Once you're diagnosed that you've got something wrong with you, like some cancer or anything that you need an operation for, to be honest, they're straight there with it. And if it's life-threatening, as I say, this person that I know, within a week, started their treatment. That's as it should be. Now, how that's done, I don't know. You know, why that it should be different here than it is in the UK. That's always bleating on about how great its National Health Service is. It's not anymore. That's 14 years of Conservative government that's done that. You know, the NHS needs a complete relook at, and hope it's not too late, to be honest. And in the debate the other night, both Keir Starmer and Rishi were asked, would you go private if your family, needed something doing? And Rishi said immediately, yes, which at least he was honest. Whereas Keir said no, because his wife works in the NHS, doesn't she? The thing is, it's all right for Rishi to say he would go private. Could you afford to go private if you needed an operation? Could you afford to pay for it yourself? Can you afford to pay for private healthcare? And why should you pay for private healthcare if you're contributing your national insurance or whatever, or you have done throughout your life? How many people that contribute to the National Health Service don't get to use it because maybe they die early or whatever? You know, this is, it's disgusting. And then, you know, raising money for the National Health Service like it's a charity. You know, do it properly. Other countries can do it. Spain can do it. Thing you don't get in Spain is a bedside manner. You know, everybody always moans about it. All the British people that come in, they go, oh, you know, my friend was in hospital overnight and the nurse never even looked in on them. Because when you're in hospital in Spain, one of your relatives or a friend or whatever is supposed to stay with you overnight. You've got to give them a bed there and everything. The nurses here, they do not do like the checking in on you in the middle of the night or getting you. I mean, they will if you've got a bell to ring. I'm not saying they just leave you there, but they don't do it unless you ring the bell and ask them to come in. And because they expect a member of your family or your friend to stay with you and do all those things, like getting you to the toilet or, you know, those sort of bedside manner things that are not medical things. Nurses here, they deal with the medical side of things. That's it. They will do the other things if you ring the bell and ask them to do it, but they don't do it as, you know, it's not part of their job. So that's the only the difference. But if you're looking for treatment, urgent treatment especially, you will get it better in Spain than you will in the UK. Sorry, I forgot why I went off on that. Okay, flipping burgers in the back garden on the campaign trail in Wiltshire. Oh, that's right. When the party leader also said he was really sorry about a speeding incident. Oh, so he's obviously been stopped for speeding. So one of his most important policies is free day-to-day care for adults in need, including the elderly and disabled, as well as the legal right for cancer patients to have their treatment start within 62 days from an urgent referral. Now, the Lib Dems, of course, you know, Nick Clegg spoiled it for the Lib Dems by joining up with David Cameron and then, you know, not doing anything positive with, you know, just letting David Cameron do whatever he wanted. So I think the Lib Dems, they went into obscurity in the last election, but I think Ed Davey will bring them back forward again now. So Sir Ed movingly shared his experiences of being a lifelong carer, first for his late mother who died of cancer when he was a teenager, following the death of his father, and now for his disabled son. His campaign video was released to much praise on Wednesday, with many saying it was refreshing to see a politician showing humanity and understanding about the care sector. I think the care sector gets forgotten, doesn't it? You know, home carers get forgotten. Because as he says, caring is not just my family's story, it's the story of millions caring for each other, dealing with tough times and keeping going with love. Sharing our story hasn't been easy, but it's important. It's time to bring carers' experiences into the light. So there you go. That's what he's for. And that's nice. So if the Lib Dems joined with Labour, that would be quite nice, probably. That's where Nick Clegg probably went wrong back in the time. So he joined with David Cameron. Why he did that, I don't know. I bet he regrets it now. Though maybe he doesn't because he's jetting all over the world with some fantastic job. You know, at the end of the day, he's made money out of it. So he's probably not sorry. Like, sorry, not sorry. That's what I'd like to just see. Again, is politicians who really care about, you know, they're there for service. Is what I like about what Keir Starmer says. You know, it's about service. It's country first. You know, you can't, at the end of the day, you can't do everything all at once. It'd be a slow-paced, painstaking journey, you know, to try and help Britain recover from the mess that it's in. But it's not impossible. It's been done before, so it can be done again. Okay, so I'm just going to leave politics aside now for a minute. I hope I'm not boring you all too much. I'm quite enjoying talking about it. Now, I just want to tell you something. I had a little bit of a Twitter moment yesterday. Now, I'm on Twitter. I've not got many followers. I've got about, I think I've got a few more now than I had before. I think I might have about 100 or maybe just short. You know, Twitter's not something that I go on much. I put my videos on there, you know, I'll put a link to my videos, or I follow some true crime people, etc. But, you know, I don't get massive response on Twitter to anything that I say. And then yesterday I decided I made a post, which was the same post that I put on my community, just about, because it just intrigues me why when we see Charlie Boy, if you're a royalist, by the way, you're better off not watching this bit because you get angry with me. But, you know, to me, I just think, why is he wearing all those medals? You know, there was Charlie Boy with all his medals. So, you know, and I found, well, a lot of people have been tweeting about him wearing the medals. So I just made one tweet saying, oh, I wonder where Charlie got these medals from, asking for a friend. Well, you get the response, oh my God. I mean, some good, some bad. But what I've noticed is, I'm trying to find the actual tweet now. What I have noticed is that the ones that really sort of angry with me, you know, oh, actually, here's some more people wearing medals as well. That, you know, just think, what is this with the medals? Where did Charlie? He didn't, you know, why has he got so many medals? What are they for? And look at this. Well, there he is with those. You've got Princess Anne with all hers, and even pedo Prince Andrew. He's got all these medals as well. You just think, well, like this guy, whoever it is, says, what the F are all these medals for? Anyway, so I made this comment about it, and oh my God, the response. As I say, good and bad. It's not all good response, I can tell you. A lot of it's, you know, people, but the people that are so angry about me tweeting that, where did he get these medals from? They descend into insults. It's like they can't just debate. You know, it's like suddenly it's my fault that he's wearing all those medals and I must be stupid and don't I know this and I don't mind people saying to me, oh, well, he's wearing these medals because of this or because of that, or, you know, if they're royalists and they support Charlie, well, good for them, you know, that's their choice. But they get really nasty. Oh, this was the, so just wondering when Charlie Boy won all these medals asking for a friend. So look, it's got all these medals on and it's had 14,000 interactions, 532 likes, 85 retweets, and 313 comments, of which I'd say most of them are agreeing with me, to be honest. But the ones that aren't are really nasty. I'm like, you know, like, oh, hang on. Like, you know, when I say nasty, I mean like attacking me as a person rather than, you know, rather than debating it, oh, well, you know, we think Charlie should be able to wear these medals because, or this medal was for that, or this. I mean, there's been a few responses like that. I mean, normal responses that I'm all for. And one woman who's got an MBE, which she sort of flags all over her Twitter, I had to actually block her because she was so personal, like, and, you know, she was casting aspersions on my appearance. I must be thick. I can't believe you're a teacher, blah, blah, blah. A woman who's an MBE. So I just said to her, well, I suppose you've not got your MBE for services to women, because I've seen, you know, she was like just hateful, absolutely hateful. And she's an MBE, so that's the sort of person that's got an MBE. Well, you know, what is it, like massive bell end? So MBE stands for massive bell end in my eyes. But anyway, she was the only one that was really, really nasty. But the others have been quite, some of them have been quite nasty. But not so much that she's the only one that I've actually blocked. Because she just started ranting on, and I was just like, what? Anyway, so you know, if you don't agree with me, say you don't agree with me, but you don't have to be personal about it. You know, I'm not making a personal comment about Charlie saying, you know, anything about the way he looks or anything like that. I'm just asking simple question: where did he get those medals from, and why does it remind me so much of the? Right, I'm going to show you. It reminds me of. I need to stop sharing that. Hang on. I need to share something else. So yeah, they just messages just keep coming through and retweets keep coming through. It's just never ending. I've stopped even looking at it now because it just got too much. I'm not used to that sort of attention on Twitter. But it's what it reminds me of. You know, when you see these are the sort of people that, you know, put all those medals on. Idi Amin. I've got another one as well. So, oh, there you go. Idi Amin, Charlie, them. I've got another one somewhere. Oh, look, there's a nice picture of Nigel Farage. I had to download that because it just says it all for me. Oh, poor Sebastian. Right, hang on. I need to get the other one up. Let's see. How do I get it up? There's another person who liked to wear a lot of medals. Where is he? Oh, I've got his photo somewhere. Too many photos. Oh, there he is. Yeah. He was another one that liked to show off his medals, wasn't he? Colonel Gaddafi. Covered in medals. They all do. All the tin pot dictators do it. Show you their medals. So that was what I was saying. I don't know why he's wearing all these medals like that. I don't think the Queen used to do it, did she? Or I don't know. Which one's for tap dancing? Yeah, so you can imagine people have come out with all sorts. You know, he bought them on a job lot from Amazon. You know, like, I wish people, let's see. Oh, look, I love that picture of Rishi Sunak. There's his PR people, you know, standing him in front of them things so he looks like Mickey Mouse. I swear they're doing it on purpose. You know, Rishi Sunak, his PR people, they're not, I think they work for Keir Starmer. Ah, some doggies. Ah, yeah, there's your missing guy. There's Keir. Oh, that was when he got covered in glitter. Do you remember that? That was at the Labour Party conference. Say, do you remember that? Maybe you're not a politics junkie like me. But he started to speak at the Labour Party conference, and someone came out and just threw a load of glitter over him. So he turned it to his advantage, though. See, that's what you have to do if you're a politician. You know, you could tell it shocked him in the beginning because the guy got really up close to him and touched him. He could have stabbed him, but he didn't. He threw a load of glitter over him. And since then, they've all been called the glitterati, haven't they? So he did turn it to his advantage. There you go. There's Iddy again. You know, job lot from Amazon. Chinese went up the Chinese shop. You know, who knows? No, did Idi Amin earn all these medals? No. No, probably not. Anyway, so I just thought I'd tell you about that because I just found it really interesting that suddenly, you know, me on my little Twitter account that normally, for example, when I gave the breaking news of Cielo, I've got 1 like and 66 interactions. And then suddenly, because I didn't do it for any reason except that I genuinely are wondering what are these medals for? And, you know, what's he trying to say? I mean, he's the privileged king. You know, he's like, what's he trying to say? He's like one of the veterans. You know, people make ridiculous comments. Like some people were saying, "Oh well, you know, you're denigrating the veterans by saying that." How am I denigrating the veterans? Not denigrating the veterans at all. If you've got a right to wear a medal, then wear your medal. You should be proud of it. But you know, wearing medals that just because you're a privileged you know, whatever, you know, I just don't agree with the royal family at all. But it's these kind of, all the pomp and ceremony of the royal family, you know, sitting on a golden throne. Now that he had 2 golden thrones made specially for the coronation, traveling in a golden carriage, great big crowns. And then in his Christmas message, he told us all to live simply. What a knob. Anyway, that's my opinion. But of course, you don't have to agree with me, of course. Oh, here's Andrew, look. Oh, did I show you that? Oh, no, I'm not on there now. Oh, Andrew Snowden, he's on there. Let me just show you. Oh, he's back to his food this morning. Because, of course, Andrew Snowden, who was the previous crime commissioner for Lancashire, now no longer, he is standing as Member of Parliament for Fylde. So this morning is all set for a day pounding the pavements with Fylde Conservative members, hoping to talk to many people as possible today. If you see me out and about, stop and say hi. There you go. He's always got loads of food in front of him. And yet he's as skinny as anything. I've noticed that about Rishi Sunak. When you see him on his campaign trail, there's always loads of food, big plate of donuts or big English breakfast. Well, that amazed me, because does Rishi Sunak actually eat bacon? I don't know if if it's against his religion or not. I don't know, because I don't know much about his religion. But he's always got big plates of food in front of him. You know, like, but he's never eaten any of it. Now, Andrew's not eating that yet, but God, I swear I know that pub. Anyway, they probably all look the same inside. I mean, it looks lovely. I could just eat that myself now, really, apart from the black pudding. Hi. So, there you go. Now, the only thing I haven't talked about yet is Sebastian Rogers, and I think I might leave that till tonight, because I've been on for 2 hours and 11 minutes. We've talked a lot about politics. We've talked a lot about God, I've forgotten what we started off talking about. What did we? Oh, about the poor guy. Let's just see if there's any news about the doctor. Let's see if any news has come through. Don't think there's been any more news. No. Oh, let me just have a look at this. Oh, so some guy whose father also went missing. Let's just read this before we finish. So John Tossell disappeared in 2019 on the Greek island of Zakynthos 5 years ago this month. And he's not been found. Gosh. The son of a man who went missing on a Greek island in 2019 has urged Michael Mosley's family not to give up their search, saying that human beings don't just vanish. So he disappeared on Wednesday while on holiday on the Greek island of Symi after going for a walk from St. Nicholas Beach with divers, police, firefighters, and sniffer dogs all deployed. And CCTV images have emerged. Yes, so we know that. I want to see what you say about this other guy. The case has parallels to that of John Tossell, 78-year-old man from Bridgend, who went missing on the Greek island of Zakynthos 5 years ago this month. He was on the third day of his holiday with his partner when he disappeared after going on a walk to visit a monastery on Mount Scopo. Oh, well, they need to check that monastery out, that's for sure. Probably a load of serial killers in there. When he did not return, the search began for Mr. Tossell, who was described by his son as a fit man and more than able to make the trip up the mountain without a struggle. Yeah, but what time was it? You know, people think they're fit, but when it's hot, if it was afternoon time, going uphill, you know, anyway. The last confirmed sighting was of him on a CCTV passing a hotel and heading out of town towards Vasilikos. And when the local authorities called out off the search after 5 days, Mr. Tossell's daughter Katie launched a fundraising campaign using the £7,000 it made to bring the Western Beacons mountain rescue team to the island to keep searching, but they found no sign of him. I'll tell you what, you want to get in that monastery and have a look in there, with his family no closer to solving the mystery of his disappearance 5 years on. You know, unless he can't have gone in any water if he was going up a mountain. Anyway, this week's news about Mr. Mosley, known for appearing on programmes like This Morning and The One Show, has sparked fresh memories for Mr. Tossell's family, not least due to the similarities between the two cases. Same story, but a different person, he said. When I read the story, it's like a cut and paste of my father, Mr. Tossell's son, Gary told Sky News. He went for a walk and he vanished into thin air. As a family, we got together and said, this is surreal. It's the same story, but a different person. He added, I wish nothing but love to the Mosley family, as I know exactly what they're going through, and it must be awful for them out there at the minute. I want to tell them not to give up. And this is the son of the guy that went missing. So, how many times have we heard this? Human beings don't just vanish into thin air. But sometimes they do, or it feels like they do. Mr. Tossell's family have refused to end their search, but suspect that either foul play or potentially third-party involvement mean they'll never get the answers they desire. My dad was wearing a royal blue T-shirt, and the police drove up the path with their blue lights flashing. They never got out of the car. They knocked it on the head at 11 p.m. and the next day they just went out walking. It was like a walk in the park for them. There was no intensity to their efforts. They said there was a team coming from Athens with dogs and specialists, but for some reason that got turned off at the last minute. 5 days later, they stopped searching entirely, 5 days only. They said he must have left the island, but when he left the hotel, he had €10 and a bottle of water. You can't get far with that. We all think as a family that foul play must have been involved. whether it's a mugging gone wrong or a car accident and he's been removed. Human beings don't just vanish. Have they searched the monastery? Seriously? Mr. Tossel's disappearance was picked up by an investigative crime journalist with her own TV show in Greece that looks to solve cases of missing people. Tunnel, which translates as light in the tunnel, attempted to piece together the final movements that Mr. Tossell made in the hope of uncovering new information, although the show failed to do so. So the Tossell family pushed for a criminal probe into the Welshman's disappearance and have urged anybody who went on holiday to Zakynthos in June 2019 to check if Mr. Tossell appeared in the background of any holiday pictures. Well, that's very sad for that family, you know, to not know what's happened to their dad, isn't it? But one thing I would say is, if he was on his way up to the monastery, that's where they need to start, isn't it? In the monastery. It'd be very difficult to find him five, you know, if he's in the brush somewhere. I mean, I don't know what the environment is like there. You know, it'd be difficult to find him now. But it's awful, missing people. You know, it is awful, isn't it? It's horrible if, you know, a member of your family gets murdered or has an accident or dies, but even worse, surely, that they're just missing and you never know, you know, what's happened to them. Must be the worst thing. But anyway. Okay, that's it. So I'll probably be back later, if not tomorrow, with the Sebastian Rogers information, which basically is more or less that Seth Rogers has now been issuing cease and desist emails to YouTubers, etc., to get them to stop talking about Sebastian. It's ironic, really, isn't it, after he's been all over YouTube? But anyway, we'll talk about that in another video. Thank you so much, all of you, for being here with me. Please remember to like, because that is completely free and it really helps me out. If you're not subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. And don't forget to press the alert button if you want notifications for new videos. I know my channel, sometimes I go into things, maybe some people are subscribed to my channel because of the true crime, or maybe some people because they're interested in particularly 1Ks or particularly politics, you know, and I know I do a little mishmash of everything, but I just try and do what I think, more or less I do what I find is interesting. And then I hope that my chatters will find interesting too. And I never take any notice of the algorithm. But anyway, you know, I hope you found it interesting. So please consider subscribing. And please consider becoming a member if you want to support my channel further. Membership is cheap as chips. It's €1.99 or $1.99. I don't know how it works out in different countries. A month. It's cancelable anytime. And there are other videos on the members that, you know, exclusively to members. But to be honest, the most important what's the word, thing you get for being a member is we get the lives every Thursday evening. We get special live for members only. And also you get to use the special emojis. So anyway, and again, thank you to anyone who's bought me a Ko-fi, sent me a soup sticker or of some kind, or PayPal me, or sent me a nice email, or left a nice comment. All these things, you know, really do help me keep this channel going. Either, you know, financially, but not only financially, but emotionally, because sometimes it's hard to keep it going emotionally. So that's where the nice emails come in and things. So thank you so much. Remember to live and love wisely and carefully. I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, may your God always always, sorry, I'm looking for my video that I like to put on at the end. May your God always go with you. Let's see. Bye-bye.